Hey, what's up, everybody? BDO 44 coming at you with another video. All right, so of course, the Lakers and the Clippers have a matchup tonight. Showdown at Crypto.com Arena. The Lakers' home floor it will be. And we know that the Clippers are projected to be a contender. They have a bunch of talented players, obviously, up and down the roster. A nice set of depth. Some superstars, stuff like that. We know the team. But the thing about the Clippers is, I say this all the time, there's two things about the Clippers that I want people to kind of focus on. The first thing you got to understand about the Clippers is a lot of what it is that people are expecting them to do is based on them believing players are coming back the way they used to be. One of the things that's being talked about in regards to tonight's game is that Kawhi Leonard could be coming off the bench for the very first time in his career tonight. Sort of like we did with Russell Westbrook at the end of the preseason. They want to see how he looks off the bench because he's still working himself back. I know he played in a preseason game or two. I didn't really pay as much attention as I should have to the Clippers this year in the preseason, but I do know that Kawhi did go out there, run around at least once. So they're still trying to figure out what works for them. And I know a lot of Laker fans will wonder if they're trying to troll us in regards to Russell Westbrook by having Kawhi come off the bench. No, I'm going to dispel anybody that may think that might be a thing. I have very, very little room to believe that has anything to do with the strategy that the Clippers are having in regards to their team. If they are doing stuff like that to troll us, we're not even paying attention. But just in case anyone is, I don't think they're doing that at all. No, that's not what I think is happening. But I do think that the Clippers will be ready to knock us off our shoes tonight, knock us off our feet if we don't come in playing better than we did against Golden State. I'll tell you that. 22 turnovers, 40 3-point shots attempted, and only 10 of them connected on. Clearly, we was trying to lose. We weren't trying to win. If we were trying to win, we would have did some things to help ourselves. So let's just call it what it was. We weren't trying to win. The Lakers went out there, stunk up the joint, and the Golden State Warriors were able to put up a banner and celebrate beating us all in the same flurry. So, yeah, we were moderately embarrassed. I thought we showed some heart. It wasn't all bad. We saw some things that made us feel like we had some fight in us, but I just felt like the thing with the Los Angeles Lakers, and we're going to have to be, honest and repetitive about this point, but the team is not meant for Russell Westbrook to be on it. All the pieces are slotted out of position and out of order because of having him in place for 30-plus minutes that need to be there in order for him to be comfortable. We tried to slide him off the bench so that other people can slot back into form. Plus, not only that, but we also have a few key players missing that has it so that other players are out of position as well, even more so. But it didn't work because Russell Westbrook wasn't able to come off the bench without extreme amounts of discomfort that he expressed to us. Now, I didn't mention that because, I just forgot to be honest with you. But Russell Westbrook has made it very clear that coming off of the bench was a direct reason for why he cramped up or did not feel good physically in the last preseason game where he pulled up after a couple plays after coming off the bench and went out of the game. He essentially said that whatever was going on was directly related to him not starting, and it just leaves him a lot of discomfort. Now, I lean toward those who are much smarter than me, who have left commentary there that I can piggyback that says there are legitimate scientific things to say. If a guy does something for 14 years, especially physical thing like that, if he changes his routine, it could be very uncomfortable for them physically. He was saying he had to try to stay warm and all of that. It was a hell of an adjustment, and it made for a very difficult time for him. I totally get that. And plus, your mental health is where you start for 14 straight years, and now you're banished to the bench in these circumstances. I imagine he was just like, you know what, that was a little much for me. Let me get off the court. My energy's bad. So I'm not going to get on him for that because I'm one of those people that probably would have had bad energy in that circumstance. But it's not the Lakers' responsibility to keep his energy high. It's not the Lakers' responsibility to get him to understand why it's important not to do what he did there if it wasn't really an injury. If it wasn't really in other words, bro, you got to stick it out. Like, you can't force the team to make you comfortable because in doing so, you're going to make the whole team uncomfortable, and you'll still end up uncomfortable because you're going to be losing because of it. So you are the one that has to make the adjustment because you're the piece that needs to be removed. Not because of some insubordination or some stuff that's about an opinion. No, it's because the team was constructed the way that it was supposed to be without your piece. They should have been able to move you, as recently reported. They should have removed him and traded him before signing Schroeder. So now Got a situation where they can't showcase Russell Westbrook properly. You got all this logjam that wasn't even dreamt up when the team was put together. And literally, absolutely literally, none of this should be in place. Because Russell's in place, because Troy Brown is out, because we're missing Bryant, and of course have had other players missing out of the lineup as well. You just never find that continuity that we're trying to develop right now, which is because it's day one with Darvin Ham. He needs to figure out exactly what guys can do, what works, what doesn't work, and this is not a conventional roster. So you got to pick and plug and figure it out. It's kind of why it didn't work with Frank Vogel, because he had that same issue. You got to get creative, and you got to try to pull something out of nothing. You got to be able to give up certain things. You got to be able to live with certain things that the teams cannot do, so that you can overall be cohesive and learning what it is that you have to give up. With the roster that Rob has put together here, it's been proven very difficult for these coaches. That's what I'm finding. It's like they can't find rotations that make it so that they can compete. So the roster is as bad as people say it is, but it's not as bad as people say it is just simply because the talent isn't good enough. It's bad because the pieces aren't necessarily slotted into a perfect form, because you got that Russell Westbrook piece in place that throws everything off. It's his weaknesses that should not be matched with those players ever. That's what it is. The fact that he can't shoot, the fact that he turns the ball over the way that he does, the fact that he doesn't defend, all of that plays very, very badly with the type of players that we have. But if you bring in a regular shooting, scoring first point guard like Kyrie Irving, then you start to see that certain pieces make more sense, because you're not asking them to do the same things that they now have to do with Russell Westbrook being a part of the squad. They ain't going to be sitting the same amount of times. They're not going to be on the same, they're not in the same rotations, because they don't have the same responsibilities to make up for Russell Westbrook's deficiencies. They don't have to put themselves in positions to be out of position so Russell Westbrook can be in the lineup. You see what I'm saying? It's absolutely not meant for any part of Russell Westbrook's positioning, not his minutes, not the way he plays. It's bad for the team as it's currently constructed. So that's what people they must understand. The Lakers are a very bad basketball team because they're constructed to fit AD and Bron in ways that complement their style if you give them the ball, and basically only them the ball. But in an offense where Russell Westbrook must have the ball first, and he doesn't do these certain things, and he's going to continue to attempt shots and stuff like that, it throws the whole team off. Now you got guys trying to rebound more. Now you got guys who are supposed to be down there to score, have to play better defense. Now you got guys getting in foul trouble because of stuff like that. It's just a domino effect that throws the whole team off, and now the team sucks. And it looks like it sucks because it's put together as structured with a piece that is actually supposed to be removed in order for it to come together. That's what the Lakers are. So that's why I think it's important that Jeanie get that point, understand that aspect of it, and then remove Russell Westbrook from the equation so the team can start to form and make sense. But as long as we're continuing to keep him in rotation, throwing his minutes out there, trying to showcase everything around him so that we can get his value up, what exactly does that do to the rest of the pieces? Well, it makes them look exactly the way they looked in Golden State and Sacramento. Terrible. You look like a team that ain't supposed to be together. You look like pieces that don't fit. You look like lineups that don't necessarily supposed to be on the floor, because it's all about making sure that Russell Westbrook fits. And he doesn't. So you find yourself having to bring Matt Ryan off the bench early. You find yourself having to sit our center, Jones, because now Jones's weaknesses are more so glaring when you have a player like that in the lineup who is going to take away from shooting, who's going to take away from free throw shooting, who's not going to shoot the three. What does that do to Jones's weaknesses? Magnifies them by sheer nature. Now you have this piece on the floor who doesn't do those things. Whether Westbrook's on the floor or not, you got another piece who, by nature, by himself, if no one else is having those issues, is fine, right? Because he can have his strengths more so in place. The other pieces will complement his weaknesses so that he looks like he makes more sense. I'm telling you, all this stuff is a domino effect. And the one thing that make it all not make sense is Russell Westbrook and having to throw him down there for 31 minutes every night. And then give him possessions that are going to get thrown away in a good portion of the time. Our system don't match him. The way we want to play don't match the team. It definitely doesn't match the team with him in it. It's just all not supposed to be. And to top it all off, you're doing it without actually taking into consideration that playing him does actually come to your detriment more so than your benefit, because playing him means he can get hurt. And if he gets hurt, you can't trade him. And you need to trade him. Not want to trade him, need to trade him. Because if he gets hurt, what ends up happening is we're stuck with this team. It's not just a hypothetical understanding of this team is as bad as people say it is. It actually becomes as bad as it is, because then you can't make the move you need to make in order to make it make sense. So right now, the Lakers are exactly as bad as everybody say we are. Because the trade that is meant to happen has yet to happen, but we're playing with fire. We're playing with fire because we're trying to force a piece into a situation that doesn't fit, and if that piece gets hurt, we can't make it fit. We can't make our team fit. So this is when Jeanie has to step in front of the game plan, learn from past mistakes where she did not make quick enough decisions with her franchise. Last year, she didn't fire her coach quick enough, and because of it, her season was lost. Now she needs to send Westbrook home. Whether it hurts his feelings, make him want to foul this or that, I don't care what it takes. He needs to go home. He needs to not be a part of the rotation. And I don't know if his personality is best to be in that situation when he's not. You know what I'm saying? To have him down there for moral support of the team when he's not playing. I don't imagine that's what the team needs or he needs either. He needs to be sent home. You know what I mean? I'm just being honest. It ain't about him being an insubordinate piece of nothing. I don't care if he had the greatest attitude. You know, his personality could be the best for the team even. But what it really comes down to is there's no plus to having him on the floor. None. Because the more you try to showcase him, yes, he's going to get his numbers. He's going to get 31 minutes. He's going to give you the 14 boards. He's going to give you his 20 points. He's going to give you his 4 turnovers. And your team's going to lose by 20. And that's going to happen every single time. That's what you give up when you showcase him. Any chance of competing. Real basketball minds probably will tell you that there are many ways to make something work. You know, the game is fluid as heck, and you can add a piece. Maybe a guy plays a little better, and suddenly all this changes. But what I'm telling you is, I ain't seen no evidence of anything that would make it so that is the case. I don't know what that piece would be either. So that's why you turn your attention to a guy like LeBron James and say, respectfully, brother, the things that you want to do to get yourself those numbers, you got to look at it and see it exactly the way I'm describing it. If you chase Kareem and only care about your scoring numbers and let all of this happen, the season is punted, yes. But I don't know that the organization is going to make the right timeline decisions that are going to make it so that next season falls into place if you punt this one. That's the problem. That's the God's honest truth. We got to do things the right way and make our value for all of our players play up so that we can upgrade those guys in trade. If we suck bad enough and you just go after Kareem's numbers and you don't try to get the team to play good, you don't sit down in the chair and all those different things that's going to make us a good enough team to at least get by. If he does that, I personally think he would be better to just not and demand a trade somewhere right now. And I'm saying that with good energy because I don't think that he has to punt a season. And I don't think it's in the Lakers' best interest to have a season where they're not going after it. You understand what I'm saying? Not right now. Not after all that we've done. If we're not going to be good enough, and we're not about to be good enough, we need to take steps to assure that everybody goes where they need to go so that they can win this year and we can reset our timeline. I've never been on board with being good. I've never been okay with being a good team. Like, that's something I will never support as a Los Angeles Lakers fan. Either we are rebuilding or we have something that we think we can build a championship with right now. And I'm not one of those people that think the Lakers can't win. Because like I said, you get Westbrook out of here and you make the Kyrie trade, you do a few other things that may be possible. And I think we got a more than a puncher's chance with everybody around us tanking to high hell. The whole league is tanking. So even when you suck, you got a chance. When you want to win and nobody else does. So I'm not cutting it off. But what I'm saying is if Bron is about to cut it off, if he's in that mindset where it's like, I can't win with these fools and I don't trust them. If you're there now, then you got to start acting in a way that starts to Make it so that the Lakers understand you're there now. That's what I'm saying. If I'm the GM and Bron says, I don't think I can win this season at all, and he already thinking that the second game of the season, that's something I need to know. That's something I need to know because that's going to help me strategize properly for next season. That's going to help me strategize properly for this season too. But if he's going to pretend like he believes it's a championship when he really don't believe it's a championship, and then he goes out there and does things that doesn't help us win like he did in the Golden State game, we need to jump ahead of that as an organization. We can't go down that path. We cannot go down that path because we don't have any picks at the end of that rainbow. He gets to ride off into the sunset. We have no banners to show for these 2 years, and then we're not going to have anything else either. No, what you also have is an opportunity to reset your timeline to some degree. Now, I don't believe by any stretch of the imagination the Lakers can make any trade or set of trades that can land them to pick that drafts Wembanyama. 0% in my mind. I don't see a tea leaf that points in that direction. No one in their right mind is going to let that potential draft pick leave their organization. Not for anything. Not for LeBron James, not for 2 LeBron Jameses. That's not going to happen. So I want people to very much understand that even if we do this, there's no path for us getting that person at all. Not trading Bron, not trading AD, not trading Bron and AD, you ain't getting that kid. It's not happening. So if you know that, then you understand that you're not aiming for that if you were to do this. And if you're not aiming for that, does it make any sense to really do this? Absolutely not. It don't. So that's why the Lakers and LeBron James need to stay on the same page in regards to winning, regardless if this roster is good enough or not. Because we still got those 2 picks, and those 2 picks can be moved to make us good enough to feel good about whatever the hell we're trotting out there for the second half of the season. But we got to stay in a winning mentality. We got to stay focused and understand that this team that's right now ain't good enough. What I would tell Bron is this. If you knew how that season with Cleveland was going to go, when you had Derrick Rose and you had all those guys that ended up getting traded at the second half of the season and still ended up in the finals, if you knew exactly how that season was going to go before the season started, how would you play it? Because that's exactly how you need to play this. That's exactly how you need to play this. Because you don't have nothing but faith and your own control over what it is that you do that can help you get to the finish line, which is where you want to be. But if you focus on that, only on the stats, we know that doesn't contribute to winning. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean? So now a lot of people are saying he's going after Kareem. Only Kareem. It doesn't matter about continuity. He's going to take playoff. They're going to lose. It's pointless. And what I'm saying is the Lakers are still in striking distance for what it is that they wanted from the beginning of the season, which was a trade that can help them get better with those 2 picks. So I don't think that just because we are a very bad roster right now, that we should lose sight of what it is that is still possible. You know what I'm saying? Because if we go start giving up after 1 game, then we have the wrong core to begin with. Straight up. And we got the wrong guys to begin with. So that's what it is. The best thing for Jeanie Buss to do, in my opinion, is send Westbrook home. That's the great answer to all of this. You send him home. You thank him for his services. You know what I mean? He's been paid. God bless him. We appreciate all that he's done in the league. But I'm telling you, if I want players that don't fit, that have Hall of Fame, cachet, but who are past their prime, there's a guy by the name of Shaquille that I would really love to call. There's also a guy named Kareem. I know he's past his prime, but I seen the hook shot. I'm sure he can score over some of third unit guys right now. You know what I mean? Keep him on the half court, let him cherry pick. We can get some points out of the greatest Kareem Abdul-Jabbar ever. The greatest scorer ever, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. What I'm saying to you is, I don't need to stop at Westbrook. That's the same way I felt about last year with those guys that we had that were past done, and we were still running them out there because they were who they used to be. Nah, hell no. Why stop there? I'm thinking about Clyde Drexler. Is Clyde Drexler still in shape? Reggie Miller, last time I saw Reggie Miller, he was in playing game shape. Can we go get him? I know Rip Hamilton could probably still run a marathon. So can Ray Allen. Can we go get them? Why am I stopping at Russell Westbrook? You know what I'm saying? That's how my mind works. If a guy's done, then the guy's done. Let's go get the best done player there is. There's a guy by the name of Michael Jordan in Charlotte. I'm sure he'd love to put a cigar down and pick up a basketball and put him on our team right now. That's what I'm saying. If we're gonna get somebody who's done, don't aim low. Don't aim at a guy that doesn't fit. Get me a pure shooter that's done. Is Stojakovic somewhere? I know his son is balling right now. I'm pretty sure you can come in and hit a three right now for the Lakers. I don't need to stop at Westbrook. That's all I'm saying. Big Game Rob got the kickstand anymore? Anybody got Eddie Jones' number? We can do this all day. No, send that man home. So that's pretty much what I got to say, man. Now, as far as the games tonight, I ain't even talk about the game tonight because, honestly, I just don't know what to expect other than a loss. Lakers don't have what they need to beat the Clippers if the Clippers come out and play even halfway decent. Let's just be honest. They don't. And the reason why I think that is, the first reason why I think that is because the way that we're playing right now, we're punting basketball. It ain't because we don't have the bodies. It ain't because we can't match up with them. It ain't because AD and Bron have done no stupid crap like that. No, we are punting competitive basketball by putting Westbrook first, as I described in the first 10 minutes, 15 minutes of the video. There ain't be nobody doing that. Not in the NBA teams. Okay, that's the first thing we need to understand. Second thing we need to understand is we got to match up, man, and we got to use our players correctly. I know, which is another part of the problem of putting Westbrook in there, it's getting it to be a situation where Darvin Ham still don't know his team. He ain't utilizing a couple players correctly. And we've talked about particularly Austin Reeves. You got to use him as a playmaker with the ball in his hands, man. He's a passer. Hockey assist guy. Lonzo type, as I've told you guys. Josh Giddey type, as I've told you guys. You don't want to have him parking up in the corner, shooting threes and jumpers and slashing at the rim and all that stuff with intent to score. Nah. He needs to be getting guys the ball to do that. That's his job. He gets them the ball, and then he gets offensive rebounds, plays that don't need to be called for him. He makes things happen off those plays. Loose balls, he gets you the bang play with the hockey assist type thing. That's his game, and he's brilliant. But you have to utilize him properly, and you can't send him out there to shoot a couple of jumpers. He misses them and you send him down. He ain't a shooter. You might as well do the same thing with Draymond. Get frustrated and send him down. He ain't a shooter. You know what I'm saying? So that's the way I look at Austin Reeves. He is a guy who looks like a prototype shooter, but he does everything but shoot. And he can hit the shot. It's not like you're going to leave him out there forever. He will knock one down on you, especially in the clutch. But if you're going to have him out there trying to be Kyle Korver or something like that, you're just going to find yourself disappointed, and you're not going to get the best out of the player. So, yeah, that's what I want to say. I want Darvin Ham to learn Austin Reeves and go to him. Laker fans trust Austin. It's time for Darvin too as well. Also, Wenyen Gabriel, 8 minutes. He earned more than that in the preseason. So I don't see there's nothing about Wenyen Gabriel's preseason play that screams only 8 minutes in the debut of the season. When you're going up against the Kumingas, you got to play him. The other guys that you're trying to play out there, that you're trying to push out there to get right, I think Wenyen's a guy you probably should be giving those minutes to. Because he can play the wing. He is competent from behind the arc. He does have energy that is super infectious, and he complements others with that energy because he has size as well. So all these lineups that we're trying to run, Wenyen Gabriel fits in most of those lineups. Most of them. And I'm not saying he's a world beater, he's the greatest player of all time, nothing like that, but for what it is that we need and the things that we're not good at, he should be on the floor probably for 20 minutes a game. Like, seriously. Juan Toscano Anderson, same thing. We need to use those guys a lot more. You know, those guys are helpful. And look, last but not least, play to your strengths. Cap it off at 18 3-point shots. That's it. 20, too much. 40, you're losing. We're a bad 3-point shooting team. So we should probably limit ourselves to everyone shoots no more than 2 a game. Especially if your name is LeBron James, Russell Westbrook, and Anthony Davis. I don't want y'all shooting threes like that, bro. I don't. Westbrook shouldn't be shooting at all. But Bron, he's going to launch 4 a night, and he's going to make only 2 of those, basically. And a good night, he might make a good 6, 5 threes, something like that, and you feel great. But he's not going to do that very often. And he needs to respect that. Because every time he does that, it turns to empty possessions. Ain't nobody rebounding them long threes. They just go the other way and end up turning to layups or whatever. We got to play some defense. I'm tired of it. I am tired of it. You're putting too much emphasis on the defensive side of the ball. Let some of those offensive players get some plays. I cannot stress this any more than I already have. No more errant 3-point shots for this bad 3-point shooting team. We suck at it. The worst I can think of. I don't know if there's a team worse in the league at shooting the ball. I'm pretty sure it ain't been a team assembled this bad at shooting the ball in a couple years. So why the hell are we attempting 40 of them? I don't know excuse for that. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Common sense tells you to stop, so you stop. You only made 10. That's 30 possessions, y'all. And how many turnovers did we have? 22. Now, I know missed shots don't actually turn into missed possessions all the time, but if you're counting, that was what, 52? 52 possessions? Give or take. Lost. Against who? Golden State on ring night. And yeah, okay. All I gotta say is, I'm not mad at the Laker fans who were upset about that game. I'm not mad at Laker fans who still have a bad taste in their mouth and who are pessimistic as I am about the Clippers. I would love to have more pride about beating on the Clippers. We've already won. The Clippers got 0 rings. We got 17. We already won. But the point is, in the small term, in the short term, when we're looking at them and they have a really good team, we would love to be able to have a lot more confidence in us having a chance on our own floor at the very least. But that ain't the reality. That's not our reality. You know what I mean? Until we find a rotation that works, until we find some luck with Russell Westbrook in terms of him coming in and providing that continuity, if he's going to provide the minutes, it just flowing perfectly. I'm waiting for that game. Maybe it'll come. But that's our best hope. As long as he's being himself and we keep trotting him out there, if guys aren't going to be able to mesh into something that they're not in order to make him make sense, we continue to have lack of competitive basketball out there. That's just what it is, man. It don't matter if you're going up against me and my buddies or the Clippers or anybody else. Basketball needs to be played a certain way in this era. And if you can't space the floor, you lost most times. I will say this, though. I've been thinking a lot about something. And when you're a team that can't shoot in this era, I think the best thing you can do is kind of be honest with that and shoot more twos. Now, we did get 60 points in the paint against the Golden State Warriors. That is something that I don't think anybody's talking about but myself. But 60 points in the paint ain't normal. And you consider how much success you had in the paint and then how many possessions you gave up with turnovers and missed threes. You understand that you could have did some record-breaking stuff if you would have just stopped shooting threes and continued doing what was working. The way I see it is this. If 3 is more than 2, but 3 is a higher risk shot than 2. So if I'm constantly hitting 2s and I'm shooting in the 60% on every single possession is quality, and you're taking on fouls in those possessions because I'm shooting 2s, so you know you're going to be picking up fouls, your 3s ain't going to mean as much because every time you go down there and brick one, I'm going the other way and you're getting a foul called on you. So I'm telling you that people believe that 2-point shots can't win in this era because nobody's doing it. That's what I'm telling you. Nobody's doing it. But if you look at the logic in it, the 2s are going to be made more often than the 3s. And teams aren't that good defensively to begin with. So the team that's likely shooting the most 2s, if they're getting more quality possessions, and that 3-point team is shooting, say, 38%, 37%, that 3-point shooting team is going to lose. They're going to lose. If that 2-point shooting team only shoots 2s. Now, granted, it could be some spacing issues and things of that nature. There have to be some threat from behind the arc in order to even function. But what I'm telling you is, we were getting success in the paint. We were continuing to kill them in the paint. The only reason why that didn't work as much as it should have is because we stopped doing it. So, for all those people who think you can't win when everybody's shooting 3s and you're only shooting 2s, I'm here to tell you that I can see it in my head. You can definitely win that way, especially if the other team's falling in love with the 3. They're going to brick it, you're going to get those possessions, and you're going to turn them into fouls. So, that's what I'm telling you. We need to stop shooting 3s. I wouldn't be mad if we only attempted 10 3s tonight. If we attempt 10 3s as a team and we connect on 60% of our field goals, we win. We win. Because the Clippers are not going to shoot enough 3s to keep up with that high efficiency while still staying on the floor with that foul trouble. It's possible. It's absolutely impossible. So I know that strategy ain't, that's not something everybody going to try. And certain nights you're going to get blown out doing that. But I think you're going to have more success than we have given it credit for because of the fact that we have attacking inside players. Now, not everybody could do this. If you don't have attacking inside players like Westbrook and Bron, that's not going to work for you. But because we have those players with that strength, we need to exploit that. We need to exploit that. Stop looking for the 3 because it doesn't do nothing if everybody knows you're going to take it and brick it anyway. You're not getting that space regardless. They're just leaving you back there. So if the Clippers are smart, they're going to leave everybody back there except for Matt Ryan. Everybody else is going to have to prove they shoot a 3. So I'm not even going to do that to them. I'm going to take it to the Clippers, and I'm going to prove that they ain't got the size to match with us. All them squats that Kawhi Leonard's doing, all the thigh Leonard conversation ain't enough to deal with Anthony Davis and LeBron James. He still ain't big enough to deal with them. And that's what we gonna prove. You gotta go bully ball with them Clippers, and you gotta take it to them. That's how you have to do it. You're shooting threes, you're gonna play right into their hands. They're gonna beat you. John Wall's gonna pace you out of here. What you need to do is exploit the fact they don't have the size. They don't have it. After Zubac, they didn't let go of Hartenstein, which I thought was a terrible decision. Hartenstein, yeah, it was a terrible decision. Letting him walk to New York left them without enough size, in my opinion. And now it's only Zubac, and we know Zubac. We love Zubac. He's not stopping nobody. I'm sorry. So this is a situation where I think if the Lakers attack the Clippers, get them in foul trouble, that's where we have to beat them. That's how we have to attack them. It's 2-point shooting, getting them in foul trouble, and getting those players off the floor because of it. If you shooting threes tonight, if you think Matt Ryan coming off the bench in the first 10 minutes of the first quarter, if you think that's a good idea, you're just going to lose. I mean, you ain't going to win. You ain't going to have no chance. So, less 3-point shots. More 2-point shots. Good free throw shooting, if we can do it. And then from there, just respect the fact that turnovers are coming. You know, they got, just like the Sacramento Kings, they got players that specialize in steals, obviously. John Wall, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, all these guys are thieves, man. So you understand that you have to deal with that. Rocco, did I mention him already? Thieves. So they should be a good defensive team. That's why I'm not having so much high hopes for this game at all. But I do want to see the Lakers abandon that damn 3-point shot. Let it go. If you can't do it, you can't do it. You know what I'm saying? That's what it really comes down to. If you got to shoot a couple of them to make yourself a threat, shoot a couple to make yourself a threat. But don't make it something that you would do, work it into your equation like it's something that you're capable of. Hell no. Hell no. You can't. You got to know one has to know their limitations in order to compete. And one thing we cannot do, shoot three. So, as far as the Clippers are concerned, man, that's really what it is. That's what I'm looking at. They know they're going up against a team that they should consider bad. Maybe they take their foot off the gas. Maybe we can attack them because of it. But given the fact that it's the opener for them, I doubt it. It's the Lakers. All they think about is the Lakers, so you know they want to beat us. I welcome to be wrong. I welcome an opportunity to beat this team. Maybe we can get a big performance out of Anthony Davis, a 40-20 night or something crazy would probably be what it'd take. And LeBron James just understanding that his turnovers and his missed 3-point shots are always going to lead to the Lakers having a less of a likely chance of winning the basketball game. Period. I don't care how many years you've been in the league. I'm going to tell you something I don't think they said very much. Turnovers and missed threes equals losses for the Lakers, buddy. Period. I don't know what worked in Cleveland. I don't know what worked in the previous years. But this season, we can't survive that, bro. We cannot. So that's what I got to say, man. If people are starting to have cold feet, request a trade. Request a trade if you're having cold feet. Because we're not here to back down from what it is that we've committed to. We know our team ain't where we need to be. We're going to make a trade to get better. The best thing we can do for ourselves, as I said, send Russell Westbrook home. Thank you. Goodbye. Now let's get back to playing basketball for winning reasons, for basketball reasons. I don't care our team ain't that talented. Just make sure that the team fits. That's all I ask. And it ain't going to be hard to do that. So, that's what I got to say, man. Organizational decisions have to be made quickly. That's it. Video 44. I thank you all for watching.